go ahead and do it. Hey, what's up, YouTube? Welcome to Play It Painted Live. Hope you guys are having a good Saturday evening. And here we go with another one of these. I know we usually do these Sunday nights, but we're doing them tonight. So, anyways, welcome to the feed. We're prepping a little Marvel Crisis Protocol. Yeah, I know. You guys have been watching some Marvel Crisis Protocol content here. And hopefully you're watching some of the crazy sped up stuff I put on TikTok. So hopefully you guys are enjoying that. But yeah, tonight we're doing a little prep. This is usually the stuff I can't say that anymore. I do everything in front of camera. It just depends where I happen to be in the process, where you guys pick up and see where I'm at. So I did some priming and some sealing on some miniatures this next set of MCP, and I'll show you that. Starting with what I got here, we got Cable. You can see Cable there doing his little bullet pew 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 shield laser shield, right? We got him. We got Bob, Agent of Hydra, and I opted for the chef's hat on this Bob. So there's Bob with his bazooka, and we've got Viper, who is an amazing sculpt. Love this. Look at the energy of that sculpt. That, my friends, that is how it's done. That is a high energy, excellent, well done sculpt. I know the costume is fairly plain, but the energy of that sculpt is great. We got Sin, right? The other part of that set. We got Deadpool. He's minus a swoosh, right? We opted not to put the swoosh on, but the swoosh is still here, and it's cool. I do like the swoosh. But we're not doing whoosh on this one. Hey, what's up? What's up, Andrew? And then we also have Domino. Right. So I'm gonna start. So what I normally do when I'm batching stuff like this, as you can see, I do a zenithal prime, and I tend to go brighter on MCP because they're comic book stuff, and then I seal it with a gloss varnish. So tonight we will not be working on Deadpool and Bob. Sorry guys, you are part of the unmasked version. You're part of the masked version of this particular batch. So what we do, and I'm assuming it looks like our varnish is dry. Let me move my camera up so we can see these a little bit better. So the varnish is dry. And the first thing what I like to do is I do like to hit them with a contrast paint because that tells me where everything goes. Okay, so let's cue up some contrast paint. And I like to use contrast paint for color blocking. Right, it's my roadmap for how the miniature is supposed to get painted. Andrew, I will be starting on your stuff pretty soon here. I was going to ask you if you had any more artwork you wanted to share with me because I'm still unclear on the styling and how things should look. I want them to, it would be nice if they look at least similar to what you had envisioned in your brain. So I don't know if you have any. Hey, what's up, Michael? I don't know if you have anything to share with me, but send that over when you can so that I get, even if it's just like pictures of the world and what type of terrain they fight over and that kind of thing, so I can tell. All right, so we start here. This is usually how I start this process. What do I do with that? Right? Okay. And then if I'm doing anything wrong, I'm sure you guys can tell me what I am not doing correctly. But let's start with Viper here. So the thing with the gloss varnish is you'll see it's going to give me the ability to go pretty thin. And most importantly, with contrast paints, what you don't want to do is you don't want to leave pools or markings anywhere. So you see how that's already heavier there? See, I could just pick it up and move it. You can't do that if that's white primer, right? If it's white primer, that big old brown stain I had on the face, that stays right there. This allows me to just put it where I want it, and it stays open long enough for me to work out any like additional details. But I do find that oh yeah, it doesn't look like we're quite going to behave tonight. Oh, nice. Good news, Michael. That's good. That's good. I know that move has been occupying a lot of your time lately, so it's good to get some progress on that. All right. So, yeah, even with the gloss, it's not being the best. It's not being the most cooperative right now. So, what we're gonna do, I'm just gonna be very, very gentle with this, and then we'll kind of take it from there. Right. Because I want this. Really, I'm treating this kind of just like an undercoat and a block, right? So it's going to sit right in there. And then I'll show you how we actually turn this into skin that we can... Hey, what's up? Did you see my... Oh, okay. I didn't see the last part. I asked you what kind of technical paint you were applying. So I know that there are different types of GW technical paint. Some is designed to be dry brushed. Some is designed to be treated like a wash. Some is just designed to be painted straight on. It just depends on what which paint you're talking about. All right, so we got Sin here. So I'm just trying to get all the patches where skin resides on the model. So it's like that. Actually, kind of stops pretty early on up here. But you can see how kind of loose and fluid I like to keep the contrast paint. I don't want to apply it. Contrast paint sitting around in spots is a bad idea. It ends up being really sticky and really troublesome, which is why I consider contrast paints to be a good tool for people, but not a good beginner paint. So contrary to what GW says, contrast paint is a decent tool for your toolkit if you are a moderately experienced painter, but definitely not a good way to learn. Okay, one sec, Nelson. Let me go ahead and look at my messages here. Oop. Okay, let's see. All right, so we'll let that kind of do its thing. Seems runny. Okay, one sec. I'll grab my phone here. Wow. Okay, yeah. So what you need to do with that, Nelson, is you are using it right. Shake that up really well. Shake up that particular paint extremely, extremely well, because you need that to be nice and evenly mixed when you apply it. You are going to want to apply it similar to a wash. So that's a good idea. Okay, so Domino's face is painted, but guess what? I still, and this might be a mistake, but I still do this. I still go flesh underneath. It just gives me a good idea of how things are supposed to look. So what my plan is I'm going to paint it to this point, kind of like a normal face, and then you can see how I've pulled a bunch of it off to keep it. I'm still trying to keep it light, but I want that little bit of warmth of skin underneath. And in fact, down here, I'm going to go a little bit darker because her neck, I don't believe she's painted her neck. So, okay. I was doing a ton of woodworking today. Made a 2x. Nice, nice. All right. And then we got cable. All right, so we're going to do cable. So generally what I do when I get a batch of miniatures is I do kind of seek out where the skin is going to be on them. And I'll do this. I'll hit contrast into the skin. And just give that plenty of time to do its thing and to dry. Because you can see, you see how GW stuff is meant for bros? You see that? Real well-defined, kind of, you know, heavy chin, Space Marine type bros, the contrast paint works absolutely perfect on. When you have a smooth-featured lady, contrast paint falls on its face. It's insufficient. When you've got like good defined muscle, like this guy's arm, you can see the contrast paint's going to work great for this. And you can, if you did it, if you were careful to distribute this right, you can almost leave this totally alone if you want, right? That looks like, okay, yeah, it kind of looks like you did the job painting it the way you were supposed to. So that is kind of the folly with contrast paint. Is it really is designed for those exaggerated GW buff boys slathering each other up with oil and trying to think pure thoughts about the Emperor. It usually is designed for those types of miniatures. So, all right, so we'll give that a second to dry. Probably if I am going to work on a miniature tonight, like in depth, it's probably going to be one of the ladies, because their designs, their costume designs, are a bit easier than Cable's. Cable's got a little bit more of a complicated design. But I am going to work on faces, so we're going to give that a second to dry. Oh, the taco truck, by the way, it's built, but you can see it's not primed. I'm going to have to do a separate setup for just the taco truck. And then there's tacos. I made a plate of tacos, and you get lots of extra tacos too. So you could do, like, you could add tacos to your other characters. That set is pretty cool. My son really does like Deadpool, so I may have to get one for me. And Bob is good for Cabal anyway. He's a good Cabal is looking for that 2-point character. I know, just use a Koya. Yeah, I know. I just use a Koya, bro. Koya, the best 2-point character in the game, should be in every roster, bro. Yeah, it's okay. You know what? That's fine. You can have Koya on your. Just go use a Koya, bro. Put it in every roster, and sure you're good too. Best value, bro. Yeah, I know. Yeah. So, anyways, let's go ahead. Let me get my wet palette ready. But yeah, I've been playing some MCP lately. You guys know I shared my thoughts a bit on it from the last stream. Hey, what's up, guys? Best 2-point character, bro. So, Okay. Yeah, but Bob has a chef's hat. Doesn't matter. Not as good. You need bodyguard. You need bodyguard for your Doctor Strange. You could do. Just sit there in the middle of the field and be gooder. Be gooder than the other goods. What's up, Chris? All right. Yeah, you can see. Right. So here's contrast paint. You see what it does is it does not look good over smooth, soft features. It looks pretty good over the broskies. Right? It's sexist. How about that? This contrast paint is sexist. We could make that. I could write an article for Vox or Bolter and Chainsword, and people, and I would be trolling both sides because people are gonna agree with it and they'll start sharing it all over the place, and then like the other folks are gonna be like, hey, no, no, there's no such thing. Anyway, okay, so let's work on eyes on camera, because you know how I hate to paint eyes on stream, but I always end up painting eyes on stream. I hate it, dude. I hate it. Painting eyes on stream sucks, but it's okay. We're still gonna do it. All right. I don't mind painting eyes. I just hate painting eyes on stream. It's really bad. But I guess I'm kind of getting used to it. I don't know. Viper is such a great character design. I absolutely love Viper. Loved her in the comics. When are we going to get like Silver Sable? Cool. I know you guys watched some. Nelson watched some Shang-Chi this weekend, and he enjoyed it. So that's cool. I thought about putting a kung fu movie on tonight, jumping on Twitch and doing that, but we'll give that a break. Santo, the Fist of Death was a little. It was pretty awesome movie. So we're just gonna, for now, we're just gonna kind of bask in the glory of Santo, the Fist of Death. That movie was is pretty solid in my opinion. Pretty solid. Like, wow, her eyes are tiny. What are they trying to say about Sin here? Why are her eyes so small? And they're like too close together. Yeah, that's rough. That's rough. I could say a whole bunch of stuff right now that would get me kicked off the stream. Just kicked off YouTube. So I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna. But look, I mean, okay, never mind. Never mind. Moving on. Let's go to Domino. So yeah, Domino's face is gonna be pretty, just it's like Harley Quinn. I do that with Harley Quinn too, though. When I'm painting Harley Quinn, I'll start with I'll actually paint the skin in, and then apply the white over it like it really is makeup. Okay. And we got Cable. I missed a spot here with the contrast paint, so I'm gonna have to go back in and get it. The fact that he's got a barrier in front of the model you're trying to paint, that's gonna be annoying. I probably should have painted Cable on a separate I should have just painted him on a separate thing, because this thing is just gonna block. Pew pew pew! No, you can't hit me, I'm Cable. So yeah. Alright. Okay. I know, this is exciting stuff. You see, this is what happens. This is what happens after the Mini gets primed, and then before I kick on the camera to do the painting. No internet in the new house until Monday. Oh, yeah. You know what? When I moved into this place, I had it all arranged. Like, I had it arranged to where they would turn on the internet here the same day I moved in, and it was scheduled, and there was an exact time, and had it all lined up, and they literally forgot to do it. They just forgot to do it. And I called them 3 times prior to moving. Hey, you guys are gonna set up my internet tomorrow, right? When I move, and no, it's okay. We got all we have to do is switch this off and switch this on, and you're good. And the day I moved in, sure enough, no internet over here. And my little kid, Octavius was, he was 2 at the time, and he really liked watching. What did he like? I forgot. He liked to watch the Wiggles, I think. He didn't get to watch the Wiggles when we moved in, and I was in like angry dad mode, and like I flipped out on the Cox people, and it was really bad. It was really bad. I lost my temper, and I did actually kind of lay it on a little thick, right? You know, I wasn't that mad, but I did make it sound like I was furious with them, because, you know, they really did drop the ball there, and you pay for a service, and you had it all scheduled, and it was all supposed to happen exactly, and you were assured multiple times that it was going to happen just fine. And I screamed at them, hoping they would just, I mean, they made it sound so easy when I called. They're like, oh, all we have to do is turn this on, turn this off, and turn this on. And I'm like, well, okay. So the day it happens, I was like, you guys were telling me that this would be easy. Because the lady on the phone she was like, I think we just forgot. She's like, I think we just forgot. And I said, well, it was explained to me that this was easy. You even if you just forgot, it would just be the matter of turning this on and turning this off. And the call got escalated up several times, and then finally, like I think 2 days later, they came in and fixed it. Yeah, her eyes are so small. Kind of a shame, because it's a pretty good sculpt, other than their ridiculously small eyes. Oh, well, this is move-in. Yeah, this is move-in day where Andrew helped me move, and Damien helped me move, and yeah, and I freaked out on the cable people, because that was they had one job, and it was a very simple job, and we were tired from our move, and I just like let them have it. I've been a Cox customer for, I want to say, by that point, I was already a Cox customer for like 20 years, right? And that means nothing to the cable company, other than you've lived in the same general area for 20 years. Right? That's all it means to them. But I'm like, because it's not like you can just easily take that sort of business elsewhere, right? You can get Dish, you can do that, but at the time, you just, you're kind of stuck if you want all of those services, but they did not deliver, on that crucial thing. My kid was mad, but he got over it. But I was mad, and like I said, I let him have it. My wife was, she was like, let's see, she was like 8 months pregnant, 7 or 8 months pregnant. And she was just going to sit in that house doing nothing, right? Until this, because they said, oh, we forgot to do it. We'll do it, in a week. And I was like, no, you're not going to do that, because I had this all scheduled. I did everything I was supposed to do so that this would all happen according to plan, and you screwed it up. Yeah, they're notoriously bad, and I give them hell every chance. It's one of those things. I know that those people have a job. They're just doing their job, right? But there are different types of folks. There are folks that will help you, and then there's a lot of folks. The cable company just flat out won't help you. And they're really good about calling me to ask me to upgrade my service or ask me for more money. What was really funny about that was, so after we moved and they screwed up, and we did the whole thing, and then they eventually gave me cable. My wife and I are going through like a Walmart, like a month later. We're going through a Walmart, and there's a Cox. In the middle of this Walmart, they have like a Cox communications, like, I don't know, some kind of hold on a sec. There's like some kind of a promotional booth or something like that they had set up in the Walmart to try to get more customers and subscribers. There we go. And and we walk by. And I just kind of look at them, and they're like, and the guy looks at me. He's like, "Excuse me, sir, would you like Cox? Are you interested in our Cox promo?" And I said, "No, boo, bad, terrible." Like, I just said just those words, those exact words. No, boo, bad, terrible, to this guy, and then he took it as a challenge. He's like, "Well, do you know that and he started to spout off, and I'm like, "Dude, I've been a customer of yours for 20 years. 20 years. Your service is so horrible that I would in a heartbeat jump to somebody else." And this guy took it personally. This sales guy took it personally. I said, "Your service is so bad, I cannot I can't recommend anything worse to my worst enemy," or something. And in the middle, I gave them like a speech, and my wife was sitting there like trying not to laugh. But I gave them the worst verbal berating in the middle of a Walmart, and and some people walking by were clapping because I just told them to their face how awful they are. I think I told that guy he needs to rethink his life's decisions. Because he was chasing me down. I'm already a customer. But he took it personal when I was like, "Yeah, your service sucks. I don't mind telling anybody that, right? I will tell everybody. and that's not just Cox either, right? It's everybody's local cable. They're all dick faces. All of them are dick in the mouth, eyeball, bad face, horrible, just rotten, awful things. Okay, they are. If you don't understand, like Time War, does anybody is anybody that doesn't work for one of these companies going to come up and say, "Oh, but their service is absolutely great. They can't wait to help me." Bullshit. Okay, these guys are basically a monopoly in your area. They can do whatever the hell they want. All right, and they do not give two shits about upsetting you. They're the GW of your area. Okay, the cable company is the Games Workshop of your area. They don't care if you quit. They don't. They really don't give a shit. They don't care if you're angry with them. They don't care if you hate their service. There's going to be 10 more customers like you tomorrow because they're the only game in town. You know what I'm saying? Now, lately, things have changed with all the streaming services and whatnot, but so they have had to clean up their act a little bit, but not much, right? Not much. They're still an awful enterprise that they are allowed to abuse their customers on a regular basis, and yeah, you should you should be and no, they deserve all of your disdain. Okay, they're not the employees working for them, right? I've talked to a lot of really nice employees over at Cox who have been honest with me, and they're like, "Look, dude, this is my job, but yeah, I I literally can't do anything for you, dude." Like I've had a guy come over my house and tell me that. He's like, "Yeah, your signal's weak right now. It there's literally nothing I can do. We tried. We put a damper in. We split your line. We did all kinds of stuff." And he's like, "Yeah, it's just not going to be great." This is at my old place, by the way. That promo guy is trying to be a terrible. Yeah, that guy. I on some level, I feel pity for him because he thought somehow he was like gonna get me to come to Jesus at some point. Like he thought that I was gonna, "Oh no, you guys are great." All of a sudden, can you imagine after 19 years of shitty service where you're calling them and calling them? You could go back through this feed, by the way. You can go back through this feed. Years and years and years, I would label the feed "Cox sucks," "Cox sucks Cox," because the streams would already they would just crash in the middle of the streams because my service at my other place was just so awful. It's literally across the street, but the service over there was terrible, and there was very little they could do about it until they upgraded their whole structure in that system, and then the people in that neighborhood could have actually gotten good service. But they're not going to do it. There's no incentive to do it, right? They're the only gig in town. So anyway, tried to get the local fiber company set up, but they require 2.5-week lead time. But yeah, and you know what the interesting thing is, Michael? Like I said, I knew I was moving. I knew the exact date I was moving. I called them. And scheduled that out 2 weeks ahead. I scheduled it out. I called them in the middle of that period. "Hey, are we still good for this date?" "Oh, yeah, it shows right here. You're still good for this date." And they didn't do it. So, anyway, any terrible car salesman experience? I have had a few. Let me dot some I's here, though, because I'm gonna need to concentrate because these eyes are so small and they're so close together, and it's really kind of frustrating. Okay, all right. I missed entirely. Hold on. That's doesn't happen that often. I don't miss entirely. Right? Right? This is my 25-yard headshot, guys. Right? With my baby girl EMP. Here we go. Okay, there we go. Not the best eye I've ever painted, but it'll work. Ooh. There we go. Okay, got it. 3 floors in this house, your thighs are going to be healthy. Nice. Yeah, you got yourself a nice little piece of property up there, Michael. That's awesome, man. Especially in that area. It's like next to impossible to get, you know, a good piece of property. Okay. I think Domino has one. Didn't she have like one not? No, both eyes have pupils. I was like, look at me trying to just get a shortcut. Like, oh, I don't have to do that one. No, you do. You gotta do both. This is a tough angle to get, but. Wow. Missed twice. Man, I need to get back to the range, dude. That. All right, here we go. I'm gonna share some photos. Cool. Nice. You can host some gaming events at your place. All right, you get some locals up there to game with you. That'll be nice. All right. And then Cable. Cable only got one eye. Actually, neither one of his eyes. He has like a glowing eye and like a white eye. So I guess that's what Cable is. He's got a glowing eye, and so he doesn't have. Cable does not have pupils. Right? He just has a yellow eye there. Okay, cool. All right, and then Miss Domino. She has black over one eye, but we're not going to worry about that right now. The next thing we got to do, we're going to do some lips, right? Now Viper has green lips, Sin has red lips, Domino has black lips. All right, so we can do Domino's. We can do Domino's lips right now. Which actually is not going to look great. You know what I'm going to do instead of that? I'm going to do purple on Domino's lips because black at that size, it's going to look weird. Okay, so yeah, we're going to do it, Andrew. We gotta hit the range, dude. All right. Okay. Gotta be thinking about that Cox dude following me around the store. Bam! 15-yard shot. Just kidding. Just kidding. All right. I cannot actually get. There we go. so she kind of has this smirk going this way. There we go. Got a little bit of a smirk going, and it's kind of cool. All right, so that's her. Let's do Viper has green, but first, where's my pink? Where's my entrail? Whoa! Where's my entrail pink? I do not see it. I do not. That's too bright. Whoa. It always kind of sits here because it's a pretty important color that gets a lot of use. Did I just stick it somewhere? It's not on the turret. Bleh. Bleh. Maybe I stuck it in here. Maybe. Yeah. Well, have you guys... I don't know. I'm not... This isn't anything to be proud of, by the way. But has anyone else ever publicly dunked on anyone the way I dunked on that poor Cox salesman guy? I'm willing to bet the reason why he did that was he was probably trying to impress his boss, right? There was probably a secondary reason, right? Like his boss being there or something. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna show him what a good salesman I am by defending our brand to this strange Asian man. I'm gonna remind him, he needs to be grateful to be here." So maybe that's what happened. Maybe that was the motivation. It's like, I'll show you, buddy. Talk bad about Cox Communications like that. And it went poorly. He doubled down on bad and got even worse. I bet it's like, maybe it's behind this. There's so much crap on this table. Maybe I never find it, which is okay. I'll just mix one. I think I'm just going to have to mix one because I can't find it. And I know it's here. It's just literally out of my line of sight currently. But yeah, it's entrail pink most of the time. Does not look like it is here. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to use this entrail pink. Not public dunk, but I've had 3 bad car sales experiences. I'll tell you so you bought the same car from a different dealer. Wow. Now I want to know, what is this bad? Salesman asked me how old I was and said I can't test drive assuming I couldn't afford the car. Oh, yeah. You know what? You could play that in your favor though. My dad, he used to do this kind of do it as like a grift. It's actually pretty funny what he used to do. And I never understood it until I saw him do it. I was like, so so what my dad used to do is when he wanted to go buy a car, he would wake me up in the morning, like early in the morning, and wouldn't let me like dress up. He would just pull me out of the house basically in like shorts and a t-shirt, like whatever the hell I happened to be wearing at the time. He'd just pull me out of the house, and then he would go and get the shittiest car in our driveway. He would just get whatever it was, just be the oldest, ugliest car he could find. And he always kept like a shitty car, right? It would be just like an old Ford or something like that, right? So he would keep a shitty car, and then he would get to the dealer and just look like trash, right? He would look like a guy who like a blue collar kind of working guy, make up whatever sort of stereotype you want about a dusty looking old Asian dude and his dusty looking kids, right? So we'd show up to these lots looking like absolute garbage. And we'd get there, and the salesman wouldn't give us the time of day. They would treat us like shit. They wouldn't say anything to us. They wouldn't, my dad would try to start a question, like ask a question, and try to talk to people. They weren't talking to him, right? They just didn't give a shit, right? Wouldn't give him the time of day. So what they would do is, instead of talking to him, they would send their their hungriest salesperson, right? Either the rookie or the person that has yet to sell a car. They would send that person over to us, and that person would be, they would still be a little like, oh man, I got to waste the next 15 minutes to half an hour dealing with this customer, right? And my dad would talk pricing with them, and he would say, yeah, I can't really afford what you got on the sticker here, right? All I have is this trashy car, right? And they really wouldn't be happy about it. They'd be like, okay, yeah, well, we'll see what we can do. I want to sell a car, but we need to make some money. So he would go at it with their rookie salesman, and everything would be looking bad for us, and I would be sitting there like embarrassed and a little upset. I'm like, Dad, what are you doing? Like, what is this? Right? And then we'd be sitting in that office. Oh, by the way, I got heavily insulted at one time because, my dad was buying my first car. Yes, I am spoiled in that regard. My dad was buying my first car when I had turned 16, and he did this exact thing. He grabbed our blue, like 1980, I want to say it was like an 86 Ford Mustang, just a blue Mustang, and Mustang, those old Mustangs, the steering columns would get all dry and creaky, and you could hear every creak of the turn when you turn the wheel on that thing, right? It just wasn't. It was trash, and he dragged me over there looking like trash, and we're sitting in the sales office right after they gave us the dumbest salesman on the lot, and the salesman looks at me, and my dad is like, we're looking at a Celica, which was a really nice little car at the time. Absolutely loved that car. And the salesman is like, oh, this is for him? This is for your son? And my dad's like, yeah. And he's like, oh, you're old enough to drive? Yeah, old enough to drive. Oh, well, with your looks, you're going to need a nice car to meet girls. The salesman said that to me. The salesman said that to me. And I was like, wait, what? anyways, anyways, um, so he's being a dick, right? And all this is going on. And then, while we're in the office, they go ahead and they run my dad's credit, right? They run his credit while we're in the office. And suddenly, the guy comes back in, and he's got my dad's TRW, and he's like, oh, don't worry, Mr. Villar, we're gonna take care of this. We're gonna take care of this for you right away. We've got financing for you. You know, you have more than enough credit. This is gonna be a slam dunk. Suddenly, the guy is licking the chrome off of our balls, right? And my dad's got him on the hook now. He's already agreed to a shitty trade-in. He's already agreed to a lower sticker price. He's already agreed to throwing in, the floor mats and all that other stuff because we were too poor all of a sudden. And as soon as that hit, because he's coming up with all kinds of, we're just coming up with all kinds of shit. He doesn't think he's going to make a sale, right? He doesn't think it's going to happen, that he's going to be on the hook to do all this extra shit for us, right? But yeah, no, and his manager is like, oh, no, you're going to want to make this sale, right? When they check my dad's credit. So yeah. So I'm still looking at that guy about his comment, and he apologizes to me. He's like, oh man, you're going to have so much fun driving this, and we get our test drive, and I'm like, and me and my dad, and suddenly I recognize kind of the genius of my dad's play here. And I'm like, Dad, I'm not so sure. I don't know. Maybe we should go to another dealer. Right? I start joining in on this. I'm like, I don't know. It seems like a lot for a first car, right? I don't need it. I don't need this nice of a car, Dad. Let's go get. You know what? I saw a shittier car out there. Maybe we can go get one of those cars. And they're like, no, this is gonna be fine. This is great. It's gonna be fine. So my dad did that every time he bought a car. And I don't think it works like that anymore, because I think I don't think car salesmen do that kind of shit anymore. But they did when he was buying a car. So, right, when I buy a car, when I bought my black car, my Highlander, that was a pretty straightforward experience. I saw the car. I saw the list price. I told them I didn't like the list price, and they're like, yeah, okay, we'll figure something out. And there was a little bit of back and forth with the floor manager and whatever, but that worked out pretty well. It was just sort of here you go, and the salesman was super cool. And he was like, he would call me like a month, 2 months later, just to see how I'm doing and how the car's running, that sort of thing, if there's anything else he could do. So I did not, let's just say those were different days when my dad went out and bought cars. So yeah, I don't know. It did take me a minute there to kind of get, oh, that's what he's doing, right? To get the genius of what he was trying to do. But yeah, my dad, yeah, I guess that's probably where I get some of my dickishness from, and my trolling people. My dad loves to troll people. He does. He's I think I told some of you about the first time he met Elizabeth, and what he did then. And I went and visited him a couple of weeks ago for Camp Daddy, and I retold the story to him because he had forgotten it. But I'll just for reference here, right? So when Elizabeth and I were dating, I took her down to my dad's birthday to meet my dad. That was kind of a big deal. And she's going to meet my parents. I think this is the very first time she met them, in fact. And she wants to make a good impression on them, and it's my dad's birthday. And my dad, every year for his birthday, would get a lechon, which is it's the big fire roasted pig, right? That you'll see at luau's and that sort of thing, right? The Filipinos do it. We do the full pig in the pit, right? Cooked under the banana leaves, the whole nine, and it's super delicious. It's really nice, and it's a really cool thing to have on your birthday. So my dad does that for his birthday. That's one of the things that he does. He also does a golf tournament. I found out my dad and I like to celebrate our birthdays in almost the same way, right? He likes to have a golf tournament, and I like to host a Guild Ball tournament or some sort of gaming tournament, right? And he even has he's working on a logo and all this stuff, and I'm like, Dad, I'm gonna help you with that because this is what I do for my birthday. Anyways, So this is the first time Elizabeth's meeting my dad. And my dad's just sitting there by the pig, and we're all walking up. And, there's a line of people, and you walk up, and you get your little cut of pig, and, you go on, and you go back, and you enjoy your life, right? So we go up there, and we get right up to the pig, right? And I said, Dad, this is Elizabeth. Elizabeth is my dad. And, and she goes to stick her hand out to shake his hand. And instead of shaking her hand, my dad looks at her, and then he walks over to that pig. He walks over to the pig, digs its finger into its eyes, pulls the little eye, the little gooey, raisiny eye out of this pig, and throws the whole thing in his mouth, swallows it, and maintains eye contact with her the whole time. Right? He's keeping eye contact with her the entire time, and Elizabeth does not flinch. She just maintains eye contact with him, and she sort of smiles. And then my dad puts his arm on my shoulder, his hand on my shoulder, and he's like, "I like her, son. I like her." So that was his little test for her. Which she passed. Good for her. But yeah, that's just my dad. He just liked to troll people, and it was a really funny thing too, because he generally would, especially when in his younger days, he would always come off as a much more serious person. Right? He always seemed like he was kind of a serious dude, but he did like his share of trolling, and he trolled my then girlfriend there pretty hard, and it was pretty funny. So, anyways, oops. So, getting this base color on Sin here, the base skin color. Okay, so if you regularly paint miniatures, like me, and I'm on this never-ending quest to find the best paint for the job. I know I should be all the way up here. Sorry, guys. I'm on a never-ending quest to find the best paint for the job, right? And one of the hardest things to do, in my experience, is finding a good line of skin paints. Right, a good, reliable line of skin paints. Right, I used to use Vallejo. Vallejo is decent, but Vallejo skin colors would settle pretty hard, and you'd end up with a cakey or crusty appearance sometimes on your mini, and it would be really upsetting. So you had that. There's also Then I went over to Privateer, and Privateer has one of the best skin paints of all time called Rinflesh, but it's a very pale color. And while Rinflesh is a very good color, a lot of their other colors just weren't so hot, right? They just weren't that great. But Rinflesh still one of the best. If you're doing Elven Flesh, or really pale flesh, P3 had it on lock with that one color. So I added Rinflesh to my repertoire, and it's great for that. I then moved over to Reaper, and I would use the Reaper Triad colors system to do skin, and I still, to this day, I still use quite a bit of Reaper. I tend to use tanned flesh or tanned highlight. I also really like pale shade, or what's it called? Pale. I have it right here. Pale shadow. Right? Or sorry, fair shadow. Fair shadow is that's a great skin paint from Reaper, and Reaper makes great skin paints. And I would still recommend Reaper to people. But this up-and-comer that I'm using right now is I'm using AK. Oh, not that color, but I'm using the AK Interactive paints, and I am a fan. I am a big fan of AK paints now. They sell AK paints at CQ. I started using AK paints when it was the neon paints, which you guys know are amazing. You do need to play around with the flow a little bit on these AK paints. Kind of treat them a little bit like Scale 75, where you're going to want to give them a good thin, and you want them flowing out pretty well. But so I'm using these skin paints, and they're good. They're quite good. So we're going to be working on some using some of those skin paints tonight, so that you can see. Yeah. So just passing that along, AK skin paints are quite good, right? Yeah, Kalishnikov, right? Anyway, yeah, we're gonna work on those. So you can see I went down with the beige skin, which would be equivalent if you're using the Vallejo, a Vallejo paint scheme. You'd be using heavy skin tone, very similar, right? Wish you could find Scale 75. Okay, full disclosure, I have some Scale 75 skin tones, and I kind of hate them. I'm not gonna lie. Scale 75 has some good colors. They really do have good colors, but their skin, this is like cake, right? You really have to thin these down. They're super chalk. This is not a good representation of Scale 75. Scale 75 does have great paints. They do. Their skin paints are not one of those great paints. Not a fan. Meanwhile, AK, this is not great. Their skin ink, their colors are very similar to Vallejo, and Vallejo's skin wash is horrifying, the stuff of nightmares. Maybe if you're painting Donald Trump, then maybe you want this. I probably got demonetized or whatever for saying that name, but whatever. So they're not perfect, but they have good stuff in their lineup, right? They have good. I really like like I said, I really like their neon paints. Their metallics I've been using, also very good. A lot of their inks are quite good. Quite good. I'm pretty impressed with AK. Their bottles are weird. I will say that. This is kind of weird. I don't know. I guess people store their paints like that, which is cool. So I guess. I mean, it's kind of whatever. But yeah, AK skin tones. We're gonna mess with these tonight. That's what we're gonna be playing around with here. So, right. Okay, so that was the beige brown, which is usually used as the undertone. If you're using Reaper, Sunburn Flesh is a good way to go if you're using the Reaper tones. But we're using AK tonight. And I picked up some new AK paints that I wanted to try. So, and they were skin tones, or at least one or two of them were skin tones. So I got Radiant Flesh, which is kind of cool. It's probably more of like a Asian skin tone. But I thought I had a mid skin tone that was gonna work. Yeah, medium flesh. So medium flesh tone. Let's try it. I think this is too gray though. I think this is too gray. I think what I want to do is I want to start mixing radiant flesh into the beige brown. Right? Like the old days we used to do is we'd make a palette. But oh, I know, shocking, right? We would make a wet palette. They kind of combined these skin tones. You have any scale 75 skin tones, but yeah, their greens are. I've been looking for a good set of greens, and I know their greens are good. All right, anyway, so let's make ourselves a mid-tone out of this radiant flesh, which seems to be more in line with that beige. It's almost a little. It almost needs. You know what? It needs a little bit more red in it. So I'm gonna add a little bit more beige. Right, because I'm not necessarily going for pale skin here. I'm going for. I just want a little more active tone. Right, that's a good medium tone. Right, that right there. Okay, so in fact, what I should do is I should drop a little glaze medium into this. Right, so that's it's just a little transparent and I can build. Right. Okay. Do not overbrush your skin tones. Right, lay them down. And this is not oil painting. This is where oils, yeah, you work them in. But this is not oils. Here I'm pushing this up towards where the lighter part of that skin needs to be. Okay. And then likewise here, right? Tops of the muscles. And this is going to get, so we're doing this old school. So this is going to get a couple of layers like this. Right? That's all we're working on tonight, really. Just trying to get the skin down. Because, right, you get the face and the skin down, and the rest of the model is going to be pretty simple and quick. But yeah, I used these AK skin tones on Scarlet Witch, and I used a much paler skin tone for her, and it looked pretty good. Wow. Hold on. Accidentally left a blob. Whoops. There we go. Not sure what all this crud is by her face. Maybe I can just clean it off. There's like gunk. I think it may be from the glue. There we go. Oh. there's like a layer of gunk right there. All right, let's get that back down. Oh, no problem, Nelson. Yeah. Ah, there's a little bug on camera. It ran on the... Whatever. Okay. I watched Into the Spider-Verse with my with Elizabeth and Octavius today, and they really liked it. I didn't realize. Okay, you guys may not have realized what a big fan of Spider-Man I have been for most of my life, but I didn't realize how big a fan of Spider-Man my kids were. Right? I knew my son really liked Venom. He also really likes Carnage, but he also really likes Spider-Man. I didn't realize, and we got to watch Into the Spider-Verse, which is a lot better than a lot of the Marvel movies, in my opinion, the live-action movies. And he got to see some Miles Morales. That was cool, right? Miles Morales is I don't know, right? I like Miles Morales as kind of as a separate character, as he's one of those characters that it's just a good character, right? And you're not worried that that's suddenly that doesn't replace the identity of Peter Parker. Like, Miles Morales is just a great character in his own right, and you can just kind of enjoy him as a great character. So, Into the Spider-Verse was this great little was a great little kind of an origin for him. And yeah, my family liked it, so that was good. All right, so I didn't have to do much on this guy because the contrast paint really did do a lot of the work here, because it's Buffman's, and GW stuff works great on Buffman's. But doing these skin tones generally does net you a nice, it gives you a more, over contrast paints, it gives you a more, I don't know, more solidified look, right? And as long as you're careful about letting each layer dry properly. So we're going to start on Domino, and because she has light face makeup, I'm going to use this color, Morning After Blues. It's kind of weird, but right, it's going to work. And I'm going to make this a glaze also, because I want a little bit of that warmth of the Gilman flesh to show. And I don't want it to look like she's just like a drow elf. Right? I'm just going to use this like a glaze. I'm going to go real thin so that, yeah, you can tell, like the last time I painted skin like this, Jose thought I just didn't paint it because it's so light, but that's this character. And you can see I'm leaving just enough of that skin tone present so that oh, okay, yeah, it is painted. Now, is Domino just has a painted face, right? Or is her neck that color too? I don't know. I'm going to paint a couple of layers of this. But I want enough of that skin tone to show underneath so that you can kind of tell. But yeah, that's a face. Okay. Well, I guess if it was a lady putting proper makeup on and she, who knows? Hold on. Hold on. Let's actually give it a little bit of skin tone down here so you can tell. Right? That her face is painted. Cool? Cool, cool. And then we'll do and I'll paint the kind of the black over that eye. There we go. Right. So now you can see that. So I just want to leave enough of that eye on so as you can tell there's an eye in there. It's not just me having painted that all totally black. Alright, I spent time painting that eye and we're going to see it. Here we go. Alright. Back to the regular skin. We're going to work our way up. Again. Get a little more glaze medium. Skin is looking a little pale. Here we go. Sometimes these Vallejo and AK, apparently the people from Vallejo and AK know each other and hate each other. Like they're literally across the street from each other in Spain and they hate each other. So because I believe some of these AK folks are like ex-Vallejo people that broke off and made their own company, right? They got a whole new set of Speedos. All right, so we're getting some sin. Eyes are just so damn small. Anyway. Right, the glaze medium is letting me kind of blend this in nicely. Right, so I can highlight here. Yeah, and what's nice about this radiant skin is this is giving it a nice little warmth to it. All right. Who else is looking forward to gaming tomorrow? I am definitely looking forward to gaming tomorrow. My buddy Jake will be there. You guys will be there. I can order us lunch, and I swear to you, I have it set to Comic Quest, not my house, right? I had to just take Yvonne's name off of it. So that first week, when I was ordering food, it was kind of going everywhere because, you know, we had it down to such a routine that those empanadas would just show up whether I was there or not. And I had to change it after she moved. So apologies for that. But yeah, if you wanna risk it again tomorrow on some food, let me know, because I'm probably gonna order some food in. know. I might just order pizza. It's probably easier. All right. So with this, again, we don't want, trying not to leave so many brush strokes down. You're lazy, so yeah, okay. Yeah, it's just a nice, assuming we have kind of run of the place, I'll just order some pizzas for us. My Monday is in jeopardy because it looks like my kid's play date may not be happening. So stand by for Monday. But yeah, that's in jeopardy. I don't know if Monday, if I'm going to be available or not. Might be another family day, which is nice, right? We had fun today. We just went to the zoo and got a little lunch and then just hung out. So it was a pretty good family day today. All right, skin is looking pretty good. We got to paint the effects here on cable. These new kits they're starting to give you a little more options with you know, how you want to set them up. For example, cable, you can go with the cloak or the extra rifle on the back, right? I still don't know how I feel about the shield. It's kind of cool, I guess. I don't know. It's probably going to look great when it's painted. All right. Let's go back to Domino. It's actually looking pretty good. Yeah, that's all we're really working on tonight. Is we're just going to get the skin down. And then that's going to make the rest of this painting like much easier. Like, especially for Domino, right? Because she's basically just wearing black. Right? She's wearing black. I think black and a little bit of red. And Viper's costume is almost entirely green. What do I do with okay. You know what she needs? She needs some eyebrows. She's looking kind of weird without the eyebrows. I don't know what to... I don't know. Let's see. Did they paint... They didn't really paint eyebrows on the thing. And she's got... She has this grin. She's got a grin instead of a closed mouth. I don't know. She kind of looks okay with the closed mouth to me. The part that's annoying is it looks like I've got some loose fibers on there from, I don't know if I can get them off either. Good night, guys. All right, man. Good night, Andrew. Thanks for popping on, dude. Yeah, I don't know, dude. Can't really get. It's kind of disappointing because I can't. Ugh. There we go. There we go. It looks a little better. It's just sometimes, you know, in the plastic cement, sometimes it'll grab a hair or it'll get fibrous, like it's drying funny. I don't know which. I don't know if those are just loose hairs or if that's actually fiber. No, it's actually the way that pulled, that was probably fiber. Probably plastic fiber. Or cement. Fiber from the plastic cement, I should say. Right? Because she shouldn't have this thing on her face right there. It's just kind of odd and unfortunate. I can try to make that work. All right, here's what we'll do. Let's paint in her hair, and maybe I can make some of that vanish. Okay. All right, let's do the contrast orange. See if I can make some of this vanish. All right. I like that Sin can lead Cabal. That's kind of cool. I was talking with Jose about that because Jose now wants to run Cabal. He's trying to figure out how to buy. He just wants to buy Baron Zemo and run, you know, Baron Zemo without having to buy a whole core set. But it's whatever. I mean, I don't even know why he can. I don't really see him playing this game when I'm not around, so I don't know. Maybe he will. We'll see. But I guess he does. Well, it's probably more about him having his own collection of stuff, right? Not so much needing to play it, just wanting a collection of like Baron Zemo and Sin and Mordo and Viper, Crossbones. These are kind of fun. These are kind of fun Cabal characters, right? Just go like super wide on your roster. That sounds kind of fun, actually. Especially if you have Bob, then you can go super wide on your roster. Okay. I think that's helped a bit. It's kind of made the. Yeah, it kind of made that that weird furry stuff minimize at the very least. Yeah, okay. Looks pretty good. You went to the GW store by Trabuco Hills High today, and the manager, Brittany, wasn't pushy. The GW store? You mean the one up in Mission Viejo? Yeah, man. I mean, it looks okay. It's just weird looking. No. Like, you don't know that that's a problem until you prime, and then you see it. You see all that fiber kind of pop up like that. All 2 boxes. Yeah. Yeah, it's a little disappointing. with that fiber. I'm not really sure. I don't even know what caused that. It's really weird. I want to just clear it out. Maybe there's a way to just pull it. Oh, I did get a bunch of it right there. That's good. Okay. Okay, that actually does look significantly better than it did. That's good. Still there, but it's not as bad. Not nearly as bad as it used to be. Okay. Okay, it's not bad. All right. I still feel like she should have an eyebrow, but I don't want to paint the eyebrows in. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty good actually. I don't know. Let's paint her for a little bit. Oh, I see. It's supposed to. There's supposed to be a red thing there. Okay. So let's paint. Yeah. She's supposed to have a little skull. Yeah, she has got a little skull there. That's red. And then. All right. Yeah. Okay. Here's some cool AK stuff. So for a red undercoat, we're gonna do wine red. It's a great little color. You bought 2 books and paints. Nice. All right. So. Oh yeah. Okay. Well, first things first. Let's get this red properly blocked in. Okay. And the skull is kind of like silver. Once again, I really do think this Sin sculpt is pretty good. I really like the Viper sculpt. These are both pretty good sculpts, let's just say that. I'm kind of a fan of both of them. Okay, and I'm just going to paint this whole thing red for now because we can come back and paint the black of the little grips there. So just get this red corset. It's a great cosplay. But yeah, there's really not much to the character design. What I really like about the AK skin line is you'll see it actually pops really nice up against, when you block in the rest of the model. Okay. The straps are black. So I'll paint those in a minute. Okay. And then the boots start up at the knees and they just come all the way down and they're just red. What are those weird red bumps on the gloves? What are those? Oh look, there's some more. What caused that? It's like the model partially melted somehow. Weird. Maybe it did. I don't know. Oops. I wasn't supposed to go all the way up, but I did. Okay, we'll fix that. Wait, you're only supposed to go to here with the boots. You can see how nice, like, what a really, really nice undercoat for red this is. I guess she has red straps on her gloves. One thing I like about painting through all these lines like this is you really, by the time you're several boxes in, you're really a pretty good judge of how to accomplish the different things you want in MCP, right? Different colors and how you am I going to just use a layering strategy? Am I going to use a washing strategy? That sort of thing. Okay. So we're going to let that dry. And then while that's drying, let's do, oh, I forgot. She's got a choker. See, I can disguise at least part of this by painting, that red right there. Right, so she's got a choker and you can't. Okay, and I can always clean up that line there with the skin color. But for now, we let that dry. Let's go ahead and we're going to paint in the steel for the weapons. With some of this black gray. All right. All right, so just the knife and the pistol. So this black gray is a really nice little undercoat for steel, and we'll highlight that back up in the next layer. Okay. For right now, I'm gonna want some black gray. So let's get some more black gray out here. But you can see once I start to highlight this red, you'll be able to see how easy. Oh, speaking of which, I forgot. I want to get the skull too, because the skull's going to be like a chromish color. Okay. Okay. All right. So now let's work on the black gray, which is most of the rest of the model. Right. So right now, let's get these spaghetti straps. Oh. Little spaghetti strap action right there. And then we can always come back and correct with our skin tone, which we will. Because spaghetti straps are kind of a pain to paint. Right, that one is way too big. Right, I'm going to need to clean up both sides of that one. And then over on the back side here, this strap comes all the way across and then down. All right. Okay. And then let's do this. Let's get the gloves. And we still some of these areas that should be red. That's okay. Get it all blocked. Right. Yeah, this is it's a fun sculpt to paint. I was not a fan of the MCP scale when I first started painting these minis. I thought the scale was just odd. It didn't make sense to me. Now I kind of like that it kind of helps it become an easier thing to paint. Right? At least in some regards. The eyes are still to scale, which is kind of frustrating. All right. And we're going to paint all this black. And you can already see spots I've missed and so forth with the red. Right, there's a big old spot right there. And she's basically just Deadpool colors. So honestly, I probably should have just painted her and Deadpool at the same time. That's okay. Deadpool is going to be fairly easy to paint. He's just kind of a paint by numbers red and black. Okay, there we go. All right. So you can see she's basically color blocked. Now we go in, highlight, clean stuff up. A couple things we can clean up right now are going to be skin related. Right where the spaghetti straps. Went too far, didn't kick in. Yeah, that's kind of weird. It really just does just sort of live at a crooked angle like that. A little easier when it's larger. Christian official thing. Nice. It's a little easier to paint some of this stuff, but eyes to scale are always hard. They need to make them a little bit bigger because it doesn't look weird and you get a better looking mini if you can paint the eyes in a little bit better. Okay. Right, cool. Let's patch up some red that we missed. Right here. Right at the bottom part of this corset. Right there. You can see big old chunk missing right here. You can see a chunk right there. Oh, that should be black actually. Looks like her butt back here got burned. It's a weird kind of melty thing to it. Okay. Pretty good. All right. Now we highlight the red. Okay. So, actually, yeah, because most of this stuff does look pretty good. Yeah, let's go ahead and highlight the red. So, wine red is where you start. I like to go up to scarlet red. Just jump the medium red because it's highlighting red over red is already pretty hard, and it takes a couple layers if you're going to do it right. So just go ahead and jump directly over to scarlet red and call it a day. Oh, hold on. I screwed up. Your Black Legion Market version already paid for 2 weeks. There we go. Okay. It's pretty good. She's looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy. All right. Now we go with the Scarlet highlight. Right. And this, you can actually go a little nuts on it, which is what I really like. Up against this wine red, it looks correct as the highlight. It does not jump out at the wrong angle. And it really just sort of does the job, as you can see. It just does the job. And you gotta love it. Right? Scarlet's nice. Again, it's that AK paint system I really like. Helps you get there. Helps you get there. Right? Good. Is it just this kit, or did Viper have an issue too? I wonder. Viper didn't end up with weird crusties, did she? See, that actually, that helped that out pretty nicely there. The Forge World Prestige. All right, so get that. Oh, let me touch up another little spot of skin. But she's looking pretty good. Sin's looking pretty good. I don't think I want to try to sit and paint eyebrows on her. Right? I think she's looking pretty good without the eyebrows. What I do want to do is I want to get some actual. So you could do this clear smoke. I'm going to do clear smoke on the belt to help that belt stand out. And I don't know if this is going to work, or if I might actually just have to come in and do a proper black paint on that belt. But I do want the belt to kind of be a little prominent here. Right? So I'm going to do this number. Right? This clear smoke here. It's kind of nice. Okay? And then when that dries down, that'll give me a little bit of extra definition. I'm also going to use it here on the gloves. Right? Just to give you a nice seal up spot right there. We're looking pretty good, guys. Pretty good. I'm liking Sin thus far. Let's give her a tiny little highlight on her knife. Teeny one. Teeny tiny little highlight on her knife. Right? Barely a thing highlight on her knife. Just so you know that there's a sharp edge on there. That's all we're trying to do. Okay. Right here. Nice. All right. Next up, let's do a little basilicanum gray on the base. All right. Yeah, Sin is fun. Fun sculpt. Basilicanum gray is going to give us that rock wall look. All right. So as you can see, pretty good. Pretty good. Now, if I want further definition on the boots, which we might want to do, we can use our magic little wash on those too. But I can't say I'm mad at this. It's looking pretty good. Let's do that. Just getting rid of the pooling stuff. Right. I like painting MCP this way too, where, right, it's not, you can, because they're all characters, you could do a batch, or I like this way where it's like, okay, let's start on, do a little something on most of them, like skin, and then let's start doing our deep dives. All right, I want a little bit of definition here on her corset and stuff. So let's do that. And we're also going to do, actually, before I even do that, let's get a little bit, where'd it go? I want to give the skin a nice little border with a thin down flesh wash, right? Right. I just want corners and lines and angles and that kind of stuff to look correct. So let's get it in there, right? This is going to provide shadow and borders, and as long as I don't let it pool anywhere, which this shouldn't. This is P3 Flesh Wash, which is actually phenomenally good stuff. P3 inks, again, some of my favorite inks. The AK Flesh Wash you could use here. It's not as safe, I'll say. The P3 one's a little more bulletproof. Okay, there we go. Just gave us a little hint of shadow on some of these edges. That's what we wanted. We didn't want anything, I don't want anything drastic, just a little bit of shadow there. Okay, cool. Last thing. Even though it's more fun, I think it's more for you. No, it's a little bit more. Yeah, it's a little bit more work than batch painting, but the results are better. You get better looking characters out of it. Right? It's a little more work, but as you can see, right? I'm just going to give you a little definition on her legs, on her boots here, right? Without letting it, I don't want this black to pool. I just want it to help me define stuff. That's super nice. Okay. There we go. There we go. A little sin for you. And let's give it a... Look at that. 11 o'clock. Not bad. If I really enjoy the sculpts, it's not the worst thing in the world for me to come down and zero in on some of these. Okay, Sin is pretty cool. There we go. We got Sin. I could have painted her and Deadpool at the same time, but I did not think about how similar their color schemes were. In fact, I was planning on painting Viper, not Sin tonight. It just, you know, it's just how it, sometimes it's just how it pans out. Sometimes you just end up painting that one. Hey, what's up, Jose? So, yeah, Sin, done. Okay, I'll let her dry. And then probably not going to start another model tonight. But Viper's pretty dope. What's going to be interesting is Viper has dark green hair, like super dark green hair. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint her hair black, highlight it super hard, highlight it white, and then use a green tint. We'll use a green tint to kind of just show you where that's going. But okay. Anyway, that's where we're at for tonight. I think we're going to call it here. I'm going to go catch some Z's, get up and feed my family in the morning, and then get ready for the day. Jose, you coming down tomorrow? Come hang out. CQ, maybe play some MCP. Yeah, let us know. I'll hang out for a few minutes longer. While we just kind of let that dry. We'll show up. Cool. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I wanted to look at her. I wanted to look at Sin's leader power. Let's see. We'll keep her on screen here so you guys have something to look at while I'm doing this. Here, I can even, I forgot, I can totally just add delete that, and let's add. Is it this one? There we go. Okay. Yeah, let's have a look. That's whatever. I'll go like that. So you can see. All right. So if we go to browse and we type in Sin, let's have a look. Okay. Takes a minute to load here. All right. So during cleanup phase, after scoring VPs, roll a die for each objective contested by an ally character. If the result is a crit, wild, or hit, push enemy character contesting the objective token away from the objective token short. That's kind of cool. Although, you know, they still get the points for it, but you get to push them away. Roll a die for each enemy character holding an asset token within 2 of an allied character. If the result is a crit, wild, or hit, the enemy character drops 1 asset token of your choice. That's kind of nice. It's kind of an anti-Catman moves. So that's weird. On her art, her straps are black on her boots, and on the miniature, they just left them red. Whatever. It's weird. Done showing your girl's cleavage to the whole world. Don't be showing my girl's cleavage. Anyway, yeah, it's pretty cool. She's a pretty decent character, right? She's a threat 3 leader, which is, I think threat 3 leaders are more interesting because you never know when you're gonna lose them, and you lose that leader ability, especially Miles, because Miles has an awesome leader ability. Then you have so her builder is a really nice builder, range 3, 4-die with rapid fire. That's pretty nice, and you gain an auto power out of it. So even though it's only 4 dice, you will gain power just for shooting in that direction. And then rapid fire, it just happens. There's no trigger for it. That's pretty amazing. You just get 2 shots of your builder. But you're only, so I guess you're guaranteed 2 power. How about that? You might do damage, you might not. You're just gonna get 2 power out of it. Which game was more appealing to me? Lots of people play. Don't worry, Kevin. It's all good, man. We still play Malifaux. Yeah, this game is not. It's a fun, casual game. I don't know. I think you would. It's kind of my answer to 40K, right? This is kind of my mainstream game. Like, I'll just play it and like, okay, whatever. People will play it competitively, but I will not because I don't think that's fun. But it's all right. She has a hit and run ability. That's kind of nice. She doesn't, and then she has that linked activation with Crossbones. So the make it personal is kind of cool because, you know, on a crit wild, you get to do. She just gets a lot of extra attacks, which is kind of cool. You get to do a second attack without paying for it. So she's kind of a cool character. I mean, at least her rules are pretty cool. Her sculpt is cool. You get to run, you know, you can run a fun Cabal that's not Red Skull. I don't know. I hate how... Wait. I hate how wrong models look when you paint off-studio schemes. Yeah, no, I see that. Just because they're Marvel, they're designed Marvel characters. That makes sense to me. I've seen people, like, I painted the Spider-Man off theme. I don't know. He seemed kind of cool. I probably should have spent more time on it. But he seemed kind of cool. I don't know. But yeah. Don't sweat it, dude. Technically, this game, what got me to play was, you know, it's a game I can play with Jake. It's a game I can play with my kids. You know, Nelson's already fully into his collection of it, and like you said, a lot of people play it. So, the things that you will like about the game, Kevin, is they're fast. They are fast games, so you got that. It's kind of it's kind of like Guild Ball in that sense, is that you get a good quick game out of it. You know, the terrain setups aren't the worst things in the world, but yeah, don't sweat it. I mean, you just it's yeah. I just to me it feels like an okay skirmish system, but you kind of do really have to like Marvel, in my opinion, if you're not playing it competitively. If you're playing it competitively, then you do all the math hammer, you do all that bullshit to go, oh, look at the economy, just take a Koye every time. You could be one of those. You could do that, but that seems miserable, dude. Like I said, like I saw the dudes in the tournament I played in. I was like, yeah, I can see how like the top tier guys. It's not like top tier Guild Ball guys. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are still some like kind of miserable Guild Ball guys, but a lot of the top Guild Ball players were really fun players, and they want you to get better, and they help you play a clean game. But because of this game's ability to kind of ignore affiliation completely and just play the mathematically best models, that's where I was like, yeah, screw competitive play. I don't want to play some weird team that's got MODOK and Okoye and Valkyrie on it, right? Just so that I can win. It's kind of dumb, right? Yeah, the no restriction list building is the most op. Agree. Yeah, it is. When you and I played, I played in tournament, and I don't know, Kevin. I could still see how you could wreck people in this game, but the opposed dice rolls, that's kind of bad times. That's the opposed dice rolls swing so hard that I don't think any serious competitive game should have opposed dice rolls. You know, even Aristea, they kind of do it okay, but even then, I wouldn't consider Aristea to be a hard competitive game. So, anyway, yeah, you guys jumped on late, but I am hopping off here pretty soon. But there's Sin. Yay! We can play. I do love this sculpt, though. I do love this sculpt. Yeah, I've always really loved the character design for Viper. She's just one of those cool characters. Like I said, Silver Sable, also like a really cool character. I hope we get to see some of that. There's just cool stuff and I had this. I don't know if you guys know this, but I have a crazy Spider-Man collection of comics that is. It's over 30 years old. I had it when I was a teenager. I had it in like 8th grade. 8th grade, I seriously put together a collection of Spider-Man comics. I'd been reading Spider-Man comics since I was in 2nd grade, really, and have just always read those comics. And so I put together a collection, and then I stopped collecting. I don't know. I was like 17 or 18, right? It's the exact moments when I started having, actual relationship with girls. Just put all those comics in a box and said, one day this will be worth something. And sure enough, I have some pretty good comics in there. So it's like, and they're all pretty much Spider-Man comics. So, which is why I like playing Webheads, because they're cool and I get to do all the Catman moves. They fit my playstyle. As you guys well know, I love to do stupid crap like that. I don't really play the hard-hitting stuff. But I also really like Sinister Six. So anytime you have a collection of kind of shitty bad guys, I'm in. That's super fun. So, didn't read superhero comics, but you still have all your G.I. Joe. Yeah, those were cool. Those are cool comics too. But I was watching, like I said, we were watching Into the Spider-Verse, and Peter Porker showed up, and I was like, oh, I think I have a Peter Porker #1. So I'm going to go look at my comic book collection and see if I do have a Peter Porker #1. That would be kind of cool. Wonder if that went up at all from him actually appearing in a movie. So, so anyways, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and call it here. But yeah, we painted some Sin. We'll paint some more in this MCP later on. But I'll see most of you guys tomorrow when we're gaming. Kevin, I'll remind Bing. I don't know what time you're coming, but I know Bing will be there looking for Malifaux. So anyways, have a good night, guys. We'll catch you on the next one.